Good morning and welcome to the Talent Community Spotlight. This is where we try to bring something to you that you've not seen before or give you a little more insight in some of the people that we love, and we love to support them and they love to support us. So my name is Jurgen, and with me today to bring you all of this goodness is, who shall we go to first?
Hey, I'm Christina Salcedo. I'm the marketing director here at John L. Scott Talent.
What's up, Christy?
Hey.
In the house. And I'm Davina. And we just are here doing what we absolutely love to do. And that is just being a connection and giving you information. So this is special. This is our community spotlight, as Jurgen mentioned. And we haven't done very many of these. And so that's why this is really super special, because the guest that we have on today, she is definitely a part of the community. She's a part of our family in our talent group. And we get to actually talk about what she's doing with her business and in the community as well. And so that's one of the reasons why we love what we do, is to just further deepen our relationships and our connections and allow you to actually get a part of that as well. So,
yeah, Davina, you mentioned that you say what she's doing. It might be a shorter conversation if we talk about what she's not doing.
Oh my gosh.
She's doing everything.
Right?
She is definitely everywhere, doing everything. Megan from Boss Ladies and Babies. Wow, there's so many different things. I'm so excited to get into all the different things that she's doing. And Jurgen, you ready to bring her on?
Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to do a quick introduction, just because we talk about what she doesn't do, and we probably would have a blank stare on our face, right? But just to give you a taste, all right, and we're going to have her explain all of the above. But not only is she a social media brand strategist, she is also an author. She's a coach. She's a wife and a mom of a toddler. She is a podcast host and a real estate broker. And she is the owner and founder. Are you counting, Jurgen? She is the owner and founder of Boss Ladies and Babies. And we are going to bring her on, and we're going to give her applause and welcome to the show, Megan Gillespie. Yay!
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here.
Hey, welcome. And you know what? We need to have another bumper, like, this is how we do it. And we need to start,
I'm down for it.
You want the Cabbage Patch?
It's a different show, right? So glad you're here, Megan.
Me too. I'm so happy to be here. When you guys were listing off all the things I'm doing, it sounds like, oh man, that's me. Wow. Okay. It's interesting to hear someone else list it off.
Yeah. I'm sure that we missed a couple things in there, but we'll let you talk about what it is that you do. But you are the founder and owner of Boss Ladies and Babies. Talk to us about who you are and what it is that you're doing.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So Boss Ladies and Babies is something that is so near and dear to my heart. And if you would have asked me 3 years ago if it would be where it is now, I would not have imagined this in my wildest dreams. So Boss Ladies and Babies is a community for women to come together and feel supported through the highs and lows of business and motherhood and everything in between. It is a place where you can find resources to help you feel less alone, feel like you have a community of other women that you can relate to help you feel like you're not in this hot mess by yourself, and to really help you set yourself up to be the best boss lady that you can be while you are raising your babies. Whether your babies are infants or my age and beyond, they are your babies. And I like to call myself a mentor to working mothers, because I am here to help you with as many resources as I can. Just figure out how to do this. I created this community when I was pregnant with my daughter. She is now 3, which I don't even know how that is possible. And I was freaking out about how I was going to continue to be this real estate agent that I had worked so hard to be. I had built this brand and this business for myself. And now I'm going to be a mom. And how in the heck do I do both of those things? And at the time, literally nobody was talking about this. It's come a long way just in our culture in general, where people do talk about this more. But back then, I felt so alone. I had no one to talk to. I felt like I had to choose between being a mom and being a boss lady. I felt like I had to, show up as professional all the time, and I could not show any vulnerability of my fears or excitement about pregnancy, what would be happening in motherhood. I really felt like it had to be one or the other, and that both was impossible. And that's just not the case. And so that was my mission then, and it continues to be my mission now, to let women hear other women experience how they are a boss lady with a baby and how they do it, because we can be both of those things.
Oh my God. You probably see me in the background like this. I just had a baby. He just was 4 months. So this is all very fresh and new to me too, being able to, get back to business and, still balancing that, my baby. I'm here in meetings. During Davina see it all the time in the marketing meetings. I'm with the baby, but we're doing business, and it's a lot. It's a lot that a lot of it is you learn on your own and you try to figure things out. And there's no rule book to this. This is all new and it's very exciting. I'm so excited about this. And you mentioned a little something that, you're working on for these working moms looking to kind of have that work-life balance. You have like tips and tricks. So I heard there's a book coming along.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
About that.
I had on my vision board to be a published author, but that was years down the road. I never imagined myself writing a book this soon. And it was a really unique opportunity. So the Boss Ladies and Babies, as I was telling you guys, started back when I was pregnant with my daughter. And it started as a podcast at my dining room table, on my iPhone. I like to say it was fueled by liquid courage and my iPhone. We did not know what we were doing. We were just there, being vulnerable, talking about our lives and motherhood and business. And that's how it all started, right? And so we've continued. The podcast is still happening. It's evolved so much. But I was on a podcast, and it was a podcast for millennials. And we were on the podcast talking about how you balance business and motherhood as a millennial. And even though I'm an elder millennial, but I still count. I'm still in there. And after this podcast was done, the host of the podcast just kind of very nonchalantly was like, I have this really great opportunity. I think that you'd be perfect for it. What are your thoughts on writing this millennials guide? And I was thinking, okay, yeah, is this a blog post or some kind of feature? Sure, I'm happy to do that. So I get this email that lays out a full-blown, legitimate book deal. And I'm like, what is happening? I'm being invited to write a book right now. This is incredible. This is exactly what I'm here to do. This is my life's work, is to help other women. And so I took the opportunity, and it is a book that is called The Millennials Guide to Working and Parenting. And I have partnered with 2 other powerhouse boss ladies with babies to write this book. There's 3 of us co-authoring it, and it basically breaks down any challenge that you could possibly think of when you think of balancing work with parenting. And the book is not just for boss ladies, it is for parents in general. And it will help you kind of navigate through these challenges with actionable steps that you can take to work through the challenges and feel better about your quote unquote balance.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you know what? Congratulations on that. That's super exciting.
Thank you.
And to get up to that point, you have you started from, like you said, the infancy, the liquid courage. I won't read into what liquid courage is. I'm just going to say it's coffee, but
lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee.
And with that, I mean, you've learned a lot. You've enhanced and refined what your voice is and what the messaging is and how you can connect with the people you most want to connect with. Your journey is here, and this is kind of relating, wrapping back up to the book, because I find it really interesting that you actually get to co-author it, and it's this guide that people can thumb through, can pick through to the specific challenge that they might be looking at. When you got to this point, you've been curating all of this knowledge or all this experience, not only your own, but the people you've been connecting with all this time to bring into this. How was that process with co-authoring? Did each of you pick or get just a section, or was it more of an amalgamation of everything together and these ideas kind of coalesced into a tab or a chapter or a subject? How was that process?
Yeah, it's been incredible, actually. So the co-authors are, one of them is my best friend, and she used to be my co-host for the podcast. And the other woman is just a stranger. She was when we started this, who lives in Utah. And we met for the first time on a Zoom meeting. And it was like, all right, let's just spitfire, like, what are challenges? And the other author that we don't know, she is works for like a Fortune 500 company. She has a completely different work experience than what myself or the other co-author have. And so it was really interesting to see like her unique challenges that she could speak to versus my unique challenges being a real estate agent and an entrepreneur that I could speak to. And then the third co-author who is at home and has more of like a side hustle business and those challenges that she could speak to. And so it was really easy divvying it up because we all had our own set of unique challenges that related to the communities that we serve. And between the three of us, we're able to cover just such a huge variety of challenges that people are having. And so we just kind of spitballed all of these challenges that could possibly come up. We each chose which one we felt like we were the expert in. We wrote our sections and, then we put them all back together. There's been a lot of editing and collaborating on, oh, I can add to this, or can you add to this? I don't have as much experience with this challenge. And somehow the three of us have come up with something that is going to be so helpful for so many people. I feel like it's like an out-of-body experience, the fact that I actually did this thing and it's put so much of my life's work into something tangible that people can hold in their hands to be helped.
Just one quick follow-up on that.
Yeah.
Like oftentimes a book is kind of a distillation of all these things that you've been experiencing, but co-author, I mean, how much did you, like before you can help other people, like you get helped yourself? How much did you learn through the process of co-authoring and getting these combined experiences together?
I learned a lot just about, when we go through our day-to-day, it's so easy just to think about our experiences and like what our struggles are, what we're dealing with. And a lot of my work that I do in my coaching, my mentoring is based off of, I had this challenge and this is how I overcome it. And so now I'll help you do the same thing. And so to see these challenges and to understand the actual steps that these two other women have been having that were different than mine, it really helped build my tool belt of things that I can help with and that I understand a little bit more because I saw it through their lens. And it's been really eye-opening and just a good reminder that, your day-to-day challenges aren't the only challenges that people are experiencing.
That's great.
Yeah, I love it. And this was not a lucky thing for you. This is like preparation and met opportunity and it exploded. And here you are doing what you thought was like going to be on your bucket list, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah. So this is awesome. Now, you mentioned that, the book is full of challenges and like challenges, it's not chapters, it's challenges. So, it's almost like a dictionary, or I guess, or a reference book for parents. Is that correct?
Yeah. And it's broken into a few different parts. So there's kind of, balancing being the working parent on the home front. And so it's talking about, things that you can do with your partner and your family to make systems within your household. Or there's even pieces of, how to get ready and look your best in 10 minutes and how to have like a powerhouse morning routine that will get you set up to go. And it's broken into these different sections, like even how to have a social life as a working parent. I mean, you can go through each of these sections and figure out where exactly your challenges might lie and then go to it there. So it's really, really easy to navigate, and it's not something that has to be read front to back. If you want to, you definitely can, but we're busy, right? Like, we are working parents. If you have this book in your hand, you are busy. You don't have time for that. You just figure out, okay, I'm having problems on the home front. Here's my challenge. I'm going to go right to that and take these steps right away.
I like it. I know we were talking about it before, and Christy's like salivating, like, how do I get my hand on that book? Yeah. So obviously not sharing everything, because we are interested. We love to get our hands on the book. When should we be expecting this masterpiece to come to fruition?
So the book is going to be coming out by the end of September, and you will be able to find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target. It's going to be available in ebook format. So basically anywhere that you can get your hands on a book, you'll be able to get it there. And you can also get it directly from my website, bossladiesandbabies.com. And I'll be doing some giveaways for the book as well. So stay tuned. Follow me if you want more on that, and you can get your hands on it for free.
Oh my goodness. Can I order these? Like,
I'm already sending you one.
Will you autograph copies?
And I think this is it's such a useful tool to have all these tips. A lot of things, like I had said before, you're figuring it out on your own, and you start kind of developing these systems, like you had mentioned, where it kind of speeds things up, or, like, oh, I have this, like, I'm taking charge of this. My husband is, has that taken care of. And then that way I know the baby's taken care of. You also mentioned when you were talking about Boss Ladies and Babes, something about networking. Is there something else in the works? It's just so many things.
Yes, there's so many things. So I have had this vision in my mind for years of a community of women, right? Like, going back to the beginning origin story of how this started, I needed a community and couldn't find one. So I started to create my own. And in 2020, a lot changed in my real estate business. My daughter started getting older. It was harder to take her places with me, especially with the pandemic. I was nervous to take her out with me to work. And so I had kind of like this turning point where I needed to make some decisions in what my business was and how I wanted my business to look. And a lot of these dream items that I had on my list for what I wanted Boss Ladies and Babies to be started to quickly unfold, like fall of last year. And on my list is this community locally of women who can gather together and support each other. And, to kind of pinpoint it smaller than being this large community on the internet, which is so amazing and will continue to grow. But I want something locally for the women in my local community. And, the pandemic makes it hard to gather in person. And so it kept getting pushed off. And pending circumstances, I think that now it is finally the time that I can make this happen. And so I'm calling this, and if you don't know me already, or you get to know me, you'll learn quickly that I'm a very cheesy person. I just like cheeky things, and I'm silly, and any kind of pun or play on words, I'm all for it. And so I'm calling this Bossy Time Out. And it is an opportunity for us mamas, parents in general, to give ourselves a timeout from our kids to gather together and be a boss. And these networking events are going to take place once a month. And they're going to be about an hour and a half long, with time for networking and connection. And then you'll actually walk away with a ton of value, because each month there will be a speaker that will come and teach you things about business, things about motherhood, things about anything that we need to know as working parents. And there'll be a variety of speakers and topics that will be there to give you value. So you've got community, you've got networking, you've got value in an hour and a half once a month. The first one is going to happen on September 16th at 9:45 a.m. to 11 o'clock a.m. And I'm saying the location is to be determined because I'm not sure if we're going to do this in person or have it virtual, but it's happening on September 16th no matter what. So stay tuned for more details, but I'm so excited this is finally coming together.
That's so good.
Yes.
Well, Megan, with the different things you're doing, I mean, then this is probably a hard thing to hear, or a thing that you don't always look in the mirror and say, but I mean, there's a level of success that people can see in you based on what you're doing, what you're able to show, even though, you're still in the journey, you haven't arrived, and you're still growing through this. A lot of people your audience might look at you and go, I want to be there. And they don't necessarily understand. Like when we look at success, we see what is here in front of us right now, and we think that is the success. But really, the success is built on all the things that you did to get to this point. And those are the things that people should be able to look at. What is it like to get to the point where you're at, between the podcast, getting up to the point of having a book about to be published, creating a networking group, the real estate? What is something, like if somebody was looking for just one thing, and I know it's never one thing, but what's one thing that they could start with today to get started on their journey for success?
That's such a good question. And this is one of the most important things that I teach the people that I work with. It's to be very, very laser focused, clear on why you're doing what you're doing. And I know that sounds like so broad, but if you can sit down and have this extremely honest conversation with yourself about why you started what you're doing, what is getting you out of bed every day, what is that gut feeling that you cannot quiet, that's lighting your soul on fire, that is telling you, I need to keep pushing forward, because we don't always hear that. We have a tendency to really quiet that in our day-to-day life. And so sitting down and being so clear about what that is will push you through to the next level, even if it takes some time. For me, it's helping other women, right? I knew that is what I needed to do. And it took me years to figure out exactly how I was going to do that. But I never let go of that strong need to help other women. And so for each of you watching this right now, really thinking, and by habit, it's easy for us to say, oh, well, I want to have a strong role model for my kids. I want to make money. I want to progress in my career, right? These are things that just come to mind, but I want you to really dig deep and figure out what is that need that you cannot quiet. I mean, for me, I could not quiet it no matter what I did. It was always there nagging at me. What is that? Hold on to that and never forget it as you're going through the steps, and you'll make it to the next level, even if it takes time.
Nice.
Oh, that's good advice. Definitely good advice. You mentioned staying laser focused, and being clear on why you're doing what you're doing, and being clear, like you, Megan, being clear on why you're doing what you're doing. And you have literally built your business around your why and understanding who you are serving. And you have made you have been very, very intentional about who your audience is. I want to just really talk about because you mentioned coaching and you mentioned mentoring, and then also there's something called brand new strategy. And there's some strategies that you use with social media in that, but let's talk a little bit about how you're helping other people and your vision for your coaching and the mentorship that you provide.
Yeah, definitely. I love this part. This is one of those things that happened last year in 2020 when I was figuring out how I was going to pivot in my business. And this is where that why piece really shows why it's so important. I was having these like, what am I going to do moments for a couple months, right? Like so many of us did last year. And I sat down one day and I just started getting it out of my head onto my computer. And it's funny to say this, but I accidentally created this giant piece of content that were all of the steps that I took to get clear on what was important to me, how I manage my time. I mean, it was literally like people ask, how do you do it all? It was a step-by-step guide of how I do it all, how you can do it, and strategies that you can make happen to do these things. And I say accidentally because I didn't sit down with the intention to be a coach or to mentor people, right? Like I always wanted to help people. That's what I was doing on my podcast. And I was helping people through relatability, but I didn't sit down with this intention to create this. But it happened because in my soul, that's that piece, right? And when I created this huge piece of content, everything changed. I was like, this, and I'm one of those people that's kind of hard on myself. I was like, this is good. And so I formatted it into the 6-week program, and I ran it on a couple different groups as like a beta kind of test thing. I did one test group that was free, one test group that was, a quarter of the price, and then one that was half the price. And these people were getting major results from this, which was just like shocking, right? Like I knew this was good, but this was like really helping people. And that's kind of how I created, it's my signature program. It's called the Brand You Strategy. And it is a balance, branding, and social media program that teaches you basically how to reformat your business identity as a mother, how to rebuild your brand's foundation, and how to start showing up on social media in a way that actually feels balanced. Because so many of us parents are looking for balance in our lives between our work and our children. And we have this idea of what balance is that is just so wrong. And that's why so many of us are struggling. And so this 6-week course completely reframes that for people and shows them how they can change their mindset on balance, get to know themselves, manage their time, create their brand, show up on social media, and just take off in their life and their business. And so from there, I started finding, okay, there's smaller pieces of this that I can go in deeper with people, and depending on where they're at. So there's people who are just starting in their business who need to really hone in on those foundational pieces. There's people who have been in business for a long time who are struggling with their time management. We can really dive into that time management. And so I've taken all of these things from this one piece of content and turn them into even smaller chunks that I can coach people on one-on-one in group programs and even through webinars and online classes. So it's been huge. That was a lot.
Yeah, I know a few of our agents actually took the Brand You class and they loved it. I heard nothing but amazing things about it, that a lot of people have been asking when the next one is. So definitely something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah. So like I was saying about how it's branched off into different kinds of courses, since I'm a real estate agent and so much of my experience came from being in real estate and trying to figure out how to, present myself and keep it real in real estate while being a mom, I actually made like a branch off of the Brand You Strategy, which is a smaller course specifically for real estate agents. And I taught one of them back in the spring, I believe it was. And I've been planning on launching another one in the fall. I've just been, trying to get my ducks in a row because so many other things just started happening. So it's still in the works to have that class specifically for agents in the fall.
Yeah, definitely. And then one of the things that you talked about is having this balance that, to do everything, there's so many things to do, but having that balance, what is one of the biggest challenges that you face trying to do it all?
Well, I think thinking that you can do it all and everything to look perfect, which so many of us feel. I mean, social media is a huge, huge piece of that. We see everybody doing it all and they look like they're doing it flawlessly. And so I think one of the biggest things is embracing the imperfections that come along with balancing parenting and working and just life in general. And sorry, my computer just freaked out on me.
You're good.
You're still good.
Embrace the imperfection.
Exactly. I know that timing couldn't have been more perfect. And then also, so, stop trying to be so perfect, realizing that if you have a plan, it's probably not going to go according to plan, giving yourself some flexibility in your life and having just a really flexible format of how you want to get things done. And then reframing how you think about balance in general. So many of us think balance is 50-50. I am doing half of my life over here and half of my life over here, when in reality, our balance shifts day to day, season to season. My balance is always going to look different than all of your balances. It just depends on where you're at in that particular moment of your life. And the more that we can kind of wrap our minds around that idea that balance can be 80-20, as long as we understand that and we have a plan to roll with it, we can start losing like that suffocating feeling of trying to find that perfect balance.
I'm so glad that Christy led in with that question, because it was one that was kind of on my mind based on who you are and what you look to serve here. And when I hear you go with like the boss ladies and babies, and really what I hear is kind of trying to help empower, like missionally, trying to help empower women, moms, that you were struggling. You didn't know how this was supposed to go. And there wasn't necessarily a lot of help always available, or at least openly available. Mm-hmm. You had to kind of search it or live it so that you can give it along the way. And the roles that you're talking about, especially when you say boss lady, that whole boss thing, from that previously would have been much more of that male dominated type of thing. And it's helping to reframe that. With that, though, oftentimes when it was more male dominated in that boss way, behind every good man, there's a good woman, right? Is what was often said. It was kind of the invisible person in here. And, kind of being from the male perspective here, you oftentimes, not everyone that has that's a mom is going to have a partner or a husband. But when you do think about that, what is important in that regard? Because even though it's the boss, you're not doing this alone, or not everybody is doing this alone. What does like communication look like to you, or how do you that balance, not just between motherhood, but this whole dynamic? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think that we as women have a really hard time asking for what we need and asking for help. And I think also we have just like this natural tendency to push aside what we need. And so sometimes we don't even know what we need. And so one of the things that I really help teach people is to be clear on what's important to you. What are your priorities? What are your needs? What's something that you do just for you? And oftentimes people tell me, I don't know. I don't have anything that I do just for me. So I think before we can really find that help that we need, we have to get really clear about what it is that we actually need, what we really desire, what's important to us, and then really dig deep to find the confidence to be able to ask. Like, if you can't find a community, make one. If you need a question answered, ask it. I have built so much of my success, right, on just making the ask and surprisingly getting a yes. And even if I get a no, that's fine. I go back to the drawing board, make sure my priorities are in line, and try again. And I can sit here and say that so easily because I've practiced it so much. I have really worked hard to be really clear on what I need in my life, what support I need, where I'm going to find it, what priorities I need, how they're going to be met. And it's hard for women to do that. And I still struggle with it sometimes. But as I'm saying this, if you're feeling like, well, that sounds impossible to me. It takes practice and it takes time, and it's a lot easier said than done. But that's one of the biggest things that I help women be able to do.
Well, Megan, just on one note because sometimes that gender dynamic is really ingrained for a lot of people. And when it comes to the typical role, and I'm just going to focus in on kind of that traditional husband-wife dynamic.
Yeah.
Oftentimes the wife is in the secondary role, or at least is presented out in the secondary role. And that's where I was talking, like, communication. Did you just find the perfect husband, or was this something you guys really worked on together to figure out how to make this work?
Well, I found the perfect husband, but also, I
mean, answer. I was playing.
Yeah. He's outside the door. No.
He's listening.
We have had to work really hard on our communication to help each other, because, like, I'm home with my daughter. I'm her primary caregiver. I also have 2 businesses. He goes and works all day and comes home, and it's so easy for the person who's at home to say, like, you're home now, I gotta go, I gotta take a break, and kind of forget what that person needs as well. And so, I mean, our daughter's 3 now. We've had some time to kind of figure this out, but we just have to be really open with each other about, like, I need a minute, or I had a hard day, or I'm not feeling supported in this way. Or, we have to speak to each other about it. We also divvy out the chores in the house in a way that's fair to the dynamic of his work schedule and my work schedule. We've spent a lot of time just being clear about our wants and needs.
That's great.
That is.
And that's really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Some people takes a lifetime to get to realize that. So communication is really important, and not being afraid to gently speak your mind without being offensive, right? It's like,
yeah,
what you're doing. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that's
the more
a whole other conversation.
The more that you're supporting each other, the more that you're helping each other, it's easier to support each other. So when for example, yesterday was just like a nightmare of a day for both of us. And I was upstairs getting my daughter ready for bed, and he's downstairs doing the dishes without me even asking, right? And so it's like, when I see him doing stuff like that, it's easier for me to want to pick up the slack on another time, and vice versa. And I think that is kind of where that key is. When you're helping each other, it's easier to support each other and take off of each other's plate. Oh, hi.
There's Lucas
from his nap.
You know what? We can go, Megan, I think there's so many more things that we can explore in this conversation, but we are literally out of time this time. But just as a recap, the brand strategy, the coaching, the book, the networking, the podcast, the real estate business,
the merch line,
the balance. What else?
The merch line.
The merch line. Yes. There's a merch line as well. Boss Ladies and Babies. Is it Boss Ladies and Babies merch line?
Yep. Yeah. We just dropped just some cute, like, matching sets for boss ladies and their babies, their mini boss, their sweatshirts, t-shirts, just some, like, cups, office supplies, hats, just some little cutesy stuff so that you can
shopping after this.
It's so so with all this being said, so many things to choose from. You almost have a shopping mall, right?
That's kind of what I wanted. One place where you can come and get anything that you need to be a mom and, like, a boss lady, right? Like, it's all in one place. It makes it super easy.
Right. So again, where is it? If anyone is curious, they want more information about who you are, what you do, how to get plugged in, where do they go again?
So you can head over to bossladiesandbabies.com, and you can find links to everything there. The podcast comes out 2 times a week. We have mini episodes that are under 15 minutes with quick business tips, actionable items that you could take for your business right away. And then we have full-length episodes on Thursdays where we bring on other women to share their experiences and their expertise in business, motherhood, all the things. So that's on the website. The merch is on the website. How you can work with me for coaching or courses is on the website. The book will be on the website. So check that out. And then you can follow me on social media at Boss Ladies and Babies. Join my private Facebook group where you can learn more about the upcoming networking events and just get all the support that you need.
You know, just before the end, and Christy, do you have one thing first?
Nope, you're good.
Yeah. You've done these things, and some of these things are things you didn't imagine or you didn't even plan that you'd have them done at this stage. They were things that you were thinking were much further off, but you're continuing to you're continuing to grow. As you look down just a little bit here, and this is maybe a good way to end, what do you see as next? Or where do you hope this eventually, where is this journey leading for you?
Oh my gosh, how much time do we have? I think as of right now, I have accomplished so much that I've been wanting to do. And so I'm excited to just see this community grow locally with the networking groups and just to continue tweaking the podcast, making it the best that it could be, offering the coaching, making that the best that I can be. And I have to just say the most rewarding part is that my little mini boss, my little boss baby gets to be along with me every step of the way. And she is watching me grow something that is so important to me, that is teaching her exactly how to be a boss lady. I mean, she tells me I have to go to work. She tells me I have a listing appointment. I have a podcast. She has all the things that I have, and she's watching me every step of the way. So I think just continuing to follow the natural progression of how this goes with her in tow, and who knows, maybe she'll be an actual assistant for me here pretty soon. I could use another set of hands.
Definitely, that's what this one's in training for. So,
well, I love the fact that you don't intend to tell her what to do. You're actually being really intentional in showing what she can do.
Yeah, by example.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves it too. She's a little workaholic, just like her mom.
So good. And we love your little, and one of the things that we've over the years is on our business meetings, we call her Baby Bold, right? Because she does it. We do the Be Bold after everyone. I was just asking, I was like, where's our Baby Bold? We want to have her do our help issues. She was like, no, she's actually put herself in her own space. We're like, what? Like, mom, boss lady and boss babies are just, you guys are, wow.
Priorities. She knows her priorities just as well as I do.
Nice.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Megan, for joining in. And, again, you have all of our support, and we are so excited to see you grow and watch what you have next. And we're ready for that book. And we want to be one of the first to get it hot off the press. So,
oh yes, you will be the first to know.
And definitely thank you and congratulations. I mean, just thank you for joining. Congratulations on what you've accomplished to this point.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your support.
Definitely, we understand what you're doing is not easy. Definitely not easy. And the fact that you're doing all these things and being able to create these networking groups or give this information, especially to new moms, it's very well appreciated. So definitely sign me up for the first book. Whatever it is, pre-order, order 30. I will take them. I am so excited to pass this along to other moms. This is life-changing. So definitely appreciate all the hard work that you're putting onto this.
Thank you. That means so much to me. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, it's that time for us to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go, but it's that time. Way past that time. So, Megan, you know what we do. Do you want to count us down and will you share about what Be Bold really means?
To me?
To you.
Or yeah, I mean, be bold means just make the ask, do the thing, you know? That's how you got to do it. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, no matter what it is. Okay.
Make that. Do the thing. I'm going to do the thing. That's right.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Be bold.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.